This hitting wall will also serve as a testament to the bonds and strong sense of fellowship that permeates throughout the lacrosse community. There are several of us up here that are going to say a few words. But before we move on, I want to thank all those who participated in this project. In particular, Clint Brooks, Dave Waligerski, Ron Wolf, and their families, and our student athletes who really initiated this idea to further honor Jake in this very special way. So at this time, I'd like to call up our Chief of Staff and Vice President of External Relations, Brian Uri.
Thanks, Brian. Good morning, everyone. Although Cabrini continues to mourn the loss of Jake, a loss not only felt on this field but throughout campus, this practice wall serves as a fitting tribute to a young man who lived his life with passion, who practiced and played with determination, and who was taken from us much too soon. On behalf of our President, Donald Taylor, Frank Emmerich, our President, Board of Trustees, all the senior leadership here at Cabrini and faculty, Mr. and Mrs. Durkin, thank you very much for sharing not only this day, but a part of Jake with us. I ask now Sister Christine Marie Baltus to come to the stage.
Good morning and welcome. I'm going to share a reflection with you that Father Carl Janicki, our campus minister, director of campus ministry and chaplain, had prepared. He would like to have been with us today, but he had another commitment. I believe it was the First Holy Communion that he had to participate in. So I'm just going to read what he wrote. The first sacred act is gathering. The community assembles at a specific time in history for a specific purpose. Our gathering today is sacred. We assemble to remember and dedicate. Remembering is the sacred act of the community which pledges not to forget important events, times, moments, and people. Today we remember a friend, a teammate, a member of the Cabrini Lacrosse family, Jake Durkin. We gather to dedicate this hitting wall, acknowledging that it is more than a pile of cinder blocks, but a memorial, a sacred space to remember. As we pause, we acknowledge the two important aspects of this wall. It stands on a foundation buried, unseen, yet the entire structure we see depends on the foundation. Our life is very similar. All that is seen rests upon the foundation of our family, friends, mentors, and all that they have done to sacrifice for us. And we can never forget that our community mourns the loss of a friend, teammate, and a family mourns the loss of their son. The second important aspect of this wall is that those who use it will not only get out of it what they put into it, the time that they spend here. The practice of good fundamentals repeated over time will develop good habits. And we call these good fundamentals repeated over time until they become second nature, good habits or virtues. So we pause and bless this memorial, recognizing the importance of our foundation and the development of good habits at this memorial, but even more importantly, the virtues we form in the Lacrosse family, which we take with us into the world. Thank you to all who sacrificed their time and resources to provide this sacred space, and whose labor of love allows us to engage in the sacred act of remembering. Always remembering Jake Durkin. And now I will sprinkle the wall with holy water.
Bless you.
My name's Timmy Brooks. I'm a senior on the Cabrini Lacrosse team. I think I first want to start by saying how grateful I am for everybody that showed up today. It's really amazing how many people are here, and a project like this and remembering Jake would only be possible with the community that supports him and the community we have here today. So first off, like that's amazing, right? And you know, this project started in August with an idea from a collection of our seniors, where myself and Nick went and met with Mr. and Mrs. Durkin to discuss the project and see if it was something that they would support us to do. Initially, they were, you know, immediately supporting us, and as that kind of continued, you know, the senior class had an opportunity to go away early in the fall to the shore, where we stayed in the house for a couple days, where we sat down and we talked about our goals and what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. And there was a moment within our conversation where we reflected on, you know, where we came from and what our journey has been and who's been with us and who hasn't been with us. And in those moments, there were certainly conversations where we talked about Jake and ways we want to honor him and things we want to do. So personally, and on behalf of the senior class, you know, this would have been Jake's last season at Cabrini, last academic year. We've made it a priority to make a point of continuing the conversation of talking to our underclassmen and the community of Cabrini about who Jake was, how great of a person he was. So I think for me and for the senior class, a big part of this project was putting a symbol on campus that can reflect a continuing conversation about Jake because of how much we love him. You know, I think for all the people that I've lost in my life, I have moments and experiences that I'll never forget. And with there's a lot of traditions at Cabrini. One of them is when you go on road games, you pretty much sit in the same seat next to the same person every time. And for me, I came in as a freshman, Jake came in as a freshman. We came in at non-traditional ages. I think he was maybe 21 or 22, I was 20. And we kind of grabbed each other, we sat next to each other on the bus. I probably spent around 15 or 20 hours with him that season on the bus, having good conversations, eating food together, throwing ice chips at some other kids in front. You know, moments that I'll never forget, right? And you know, as it relates to this wall, there's a lot of people that made this possible. Mr. Walagursky helped with the nice murals that are on there. The team contributed. We painted the entire wall, 3 or 4 coats of paint. Ron Wolf, he led the construction. We raised over $15,000 in 72 hours. 170 people donated within that time frame, which is unbelievable, right? Like, that's amazing. So I think, you know, for me and the entire Cabrini men's lacrosse team, we're really excited about this, and we're really pleased that there's going to be something on Cabrini that can represent who Jake was and how great of a person he is and how much we love him. Thanks.
I'm Steve Colford, head men's lacrosse coach, and they just said, Tim, I don't have anything left to say after that, which was probably his plan. So it goes, if you have been to senior athletic banquets, you know how emotional I get. And you know you weren't going to get out here without a few tears. My guys know it, and everyone here who knows me knows it. Timmy and everyone else said it, summed it up. The thanks goes well beyond the group of people that are here today for seeing this project through. I think it's so important for our young players to understand the word legacy and know what it means, or start to appreciate what that means young in life, and to leave something behind, or leave something better than you found it, is something that we talk about in our room all the time. And I think this wall symbolizes what we talk about when we use the word legacy. It's not how many goals you score, or how many All-American awards or All-Conference awards that you win, or how many championships that we win. It's about the impact that you make on people. It's how you leave something that you found it. Did you leave it in a better place? Did you leave a foundation stronger than when you found it? Did you leave good traditions behind? Did you leave a work ethic behind? Did you embody the things that we talk about in hard work and passion and energy and effort? Did you bring that to some days, most days, or all days? Because those are the strong takeaways that you take with you. Those are your concrete walls in life that you take with you. Without it, you know, you have a wall that can come down at any point. And I know the way this wall was built, watching Ron Wolf, who I can't thank enough, and his crew, this wall's not coming down. And Wally, who's here in a pinch to decorate it. Thank you. Thank you. This wall serves as a daily reminder for our hard work, how much we miss Jake. Guys who have never met him will come out here and use this wall for generations to come and see the sign and ask questions about him, and it'll be our job to pass on his legacy, his story, his work ethic, his passion, and his love of lacrosse. And if we do that, then we've done our job. Thank you, and thanks for coming out today. I love you guys. Jack would like to say something.
First of all, I want to thank the university, the senior lacrosse players who pulled this all together, and all you folks who come out this wonderful, this wonderful wet day. A couple of years ago, actually about 4 years ago, Jake decided he wanted to go back to college. I don't think he really went back to college. He wanted to play lacrosse. But he put together a plan. Went back to Montreal, worked on his academic skills. He met with me and Uncle Bob, Coach Ambler, to hone his stick skills. And he reached out to a couple of his coaches, from a couple of schools that paid a lot of attention to him when he was in high school. Then one day he comes home and he says, hey Dad, I'm going to Cabrini. Cabrini was never on his radar. I didn't know much about Cabrini. He told us he met with the admissions people, he met with the coach. Everything was set. So away we go. And I just can't tell you how happy he was. I mean, the night he came home with his helmet, watching him trying to get his dinner with the helmet still on was just amazing. Well, I asked him, why do you want to go to Cabrini? You've never mentioned it. He said, well, they've got a winning program. They've got a great coach. It's a good school, Dad. You can't leave that out. And he said, I know some of the players personally, and I know a lot of the players to their reputation. He said, Dad, they're dirty. That doesn't mean that they're poor sports, but what it meant to Jake was they were just ridiculously good players. So I asked him, I said, well, if you're going to go to Cabrini, you've got all these good players in front of you, when are you going to get the playing time? He said, eventually I'll get some playing time, it really doesn't matter. So I said, okay, that's fine. He said, you know, we'll still make all the games. I don't think I ever missed any of Jake's games when he was in junior high school or high school, other than when they went to Florida at Easter. So on a CPA, and from January to April and into May, we're fairly busy. But I said, we'll make the games. And one night, we were coming down, my wife talked to me, I was never late for it, but this one particular night, we had some things going on in the office, and they said, don't worry, he won't get into the fourth quarter. As we're walking across the parking lot out there, we hear the announcer, the Cabrini announcer saying, Cabrini goal scored by, I didn't hear the number, and then John Durkin. He just looks up and he says, wow, that's amazing. There's another John Durkin on the team. So we were never late for another game after that. But it's suffice it to say that the last 2 years have been extremely difficult. We've had some good times, but you know, It's like there's no joy sometimes in the good times. Very little joy in Boudville. But occasionally, somebody will call, we'll get a text. Maybe got a couple of letters from parents who talk to us about things that Jake had done for their son or their daughter. And it just kind of makes it sting a little bit less. Then one day, Tim reaches out to me, and he and Nick came up to talk to us about what they were planning. And thank you. This has taken a big sting out of our problem. So as you seniors move forward, next couple of weeks are very important. Some of you may never see a lacrosse field again after these next couple of weeks. So I'll leave you with the words of my son. Don't suck.
We're going to call up a few student athletes to do a ceremonial few hits on the wall.
We got new balls.
Pass left only.
Whatever.
Ball in there.
One up, guys.
He's got a lot of weight.
Put him in the drill right now. All right, I think that's it. Now you guys go to the parking lot and then come back fired up at 1 o'clock for a championship game. All right?